And that's what life's about, man. Life's about making those special moments and memories like that. And if you have somebody in your family or somebody that's suffering, you know that you can't watch something, you can't listen to music. I mean, you're just completely blank.
You know,
These people are going through so much.
and it's crazy you bring that up because actually my grandmother, she raised me, and I mean, she really was. She was more than my grandmother. She's my best friend. She was the number one person in my life, and she had cancer when I was 15. It was after a football game. My sister told me, she was like, "Hey, Mama's in the hospital. They're running tests on her." I'm like, "Oh, nothing. My Mama's never been sick." I was like, "Yeah, there ain't nothing wrong." And I remember football season ended, and I was in wrestling practice. And my brother walked in, and I was wrestling, and I caught him out the glimpse of my eyes, and we made eye contact, and he just wiped his eyes, and like I could just feel the tension. I was like, man. And I broke down and started crying. I knew something was wrong, didn't know what it was, and I got in the vehicle, and they just told me that she had cancer. And that was back in 2010. And sad thing is, it came to an end in March of 2015. A woman, I think it came back 7 times, and she was constantly in and out of chemo, constantly fighting. It was a big motivation to me. I miss her and love her more than anything. But
Well, me and
I
you were
mean,
kind of chatting about this before, man. What these people are going through, you can't compare it to anything. I just had Paul Felder
no,
on last week before his fight at UFC Halifax, and one of his family members is suffering from cancer. And he said on the show, he was like, "What I'm doing when I'm going in there, and I have these big cuts on my face, or I'm getting spinning heel kick to the face. It's nothing compared to what these people are going through."
I take 1,000 jabs just to see her healthy. There's no comparison. That's like I always say. If you think I'm a fighter, you should see the survivors, and not just her, just all cancer survivors in general. I spent many days in cancer centers sitting beside her, just sitting through with it, watching her, seeing all those people come in and out. It's a very emotional thing, especially when you're affected by it. How can how can I look at my career and be like, oh, this and that, I can't do this, I can't do that, when someone of her age and her, being so, I don't want to say old, but she's an elder lady, in her 70s. She fought cancer, and not once did she, make excuses. She took the chemo, she kept fighting. So, I'm 22 years old. I'm healthy. I'm blessed. I have great people I surround myself with. Who says, I can't be the best in the world one day? Especially, that kind of motivation, dude. If she could fight for that long, and I wouldn't even say she lost, man. The war was over. The battle ended. She didn't lose the fight because she touched so many people's lives through her journey. So that's really what touches me. It motivates me, and I'm a very, I find motivation in all kinds of stuff, through her cancer, me wrestling in high school. Uh, I find motivation in that. My wrestling coach, he back in my high school wrestling coach, he's a pastor and a wrestling coach. And it's crazy how someone can look at you and talk to you and never break a cuss word and still make you want to run your head through a wall. Stuff like that's motivating. And my MMA coach was in the military. Little things motivate me, So it's crazy how much motivation I have around me. It's just an awesome feeling.
Well, I say it a lot to like my little sister who's really young. I mean, life's all about those little moments, like counting your blessings. I mean, there's some people out there that really do have it hard, and we might have hard days here and there. But for the most part, like you're fighting, you're doing something that makes you feel alive, something that you're passionate about. Me, I look forward to doing these interviews, talking with you guys, because I know what you guys have to do. Sometimes you got to put off holidays. Sometimes you got to, you know what I mean? It's a selfish sport, MMA, man, and for you to go
Very
out
selfish.
and help these young kids and be there for your grandmother, man, you can't live with regret.
Oh, absolutely not. And it's like one of those things. I left college. When I was in college, I came back from Christmas, and I saw how much worse she was doing. That was in 2014, and she passed away in 2015. And I was just like, how can I not stay? How can I leave her? So I made the choice to stay. In a way, it's not that I regret it. I just wish I knew what all I could have accomplished at that level. But at the same time, I don't regret anything, because one little, one one step to the right, one step to the left, and my whole life has changed. And right now, dude, I'm sitting in a very happy spot in my life. I have a great family. My mom and dad are there for me, and they love me to death. My sister Caitlin, she's couldn't ask for a better human to be in my life. My bosses, my head coach, just everyone in general, they all come together to keep me on a positive mindset. I guess honestly, that's why I'm always smiling. I just no negativity here.
Well, we have a great platform here, and right now, man, for anyone tuning in that's going through something, or maybe somebody's in a high school, they're a freshman right now, and they're going through wrestling and they're having a hard time. I mean, what advice do you have for them to keep moving forward?
I tell you, it's crazy because I worked my hind end off, and I felt like, I was going through high school with my grandmother with cancer, my sophomore, junior, and senior year, and I would say they're not my coach and wake up in the mornings and run and everything, and I can remember being in the state tournament my senior year, and there was a returning state champion in my bracket, and I was ranked number one. How come I got the honor to be ranked number one? And I'd won all these big tournaments. I went to the state tournament my senior year, 42-1.
Wow.
So yeah, and I was I was dead set on winning. There was nothing that was going to hold me back. And then I chose the worst time of my life to wrestle the worst match of my life. And crazy thing is, I could sit and make excuses on why it happened, but I'm not the one to make excuses. But basically, I lost by 1 point to a stalling call. And dude, it haunted me. I said, before my grandmother died, that was the worst thing that ever happened to me, because I was like, life's not fair. That doesn't make sense. How can I work so hard and not be gave what I've worked for? And it took me a long time. It took me into my, until I got older into MMA before I started realizing, it's just one of these sports. Nothing's gave to you. Kids win state titles all the time that wrestle for 10 plus years. And kids don't win state titles all the time that's wrestled 10 plus years. So, you're not deserved anything, and it comes out on the mat. You're not owed anything. A state title is a privilege that I never got the chance to have, So if a high school kid's watching, just remember, always work hard. And, when your career's over, leave no doubt. If your goal is to be a state champion, work like a state champion. Work like a national champion, because, it's not gave to everybody.